welcome to episode 136. That one about weapons. So yesterday we got a weapons preview for season, what was that, 23? Yeah, it's 23. And we got a TWID today. So most of the meat and potatoes were coming from the weapons article. And then just a couple of things to talk about from the TWID. Festival of Lost is still going on right now, so there's lots of headless ones to chase. There's stuff to do with a mask on. I was hoping maybe one of you all had luck of what's the fastest way to complete activities with a mask on for ritual playlists. So I was like doing Team Scorched, and I was getting between like 2 to 3% per game. But I didn't know if Gambit gave more. I wonder if you all did any Gambit games with the mask on.
What I can say is I wasn't paying attention because I was just I finished getting the ornament on all three of them. I only needed to do Vanguard and Crucible, like 2,000 points of Crucible. So I was just doing it without paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know which one granted more. Because I think it's double Vanguard rep this week, right? Or last week anyway.
It was last week.
Yeah, it was last week. So I grinded out like 7,000 XP last week. And then that got almost all the way there. And then I finished it with Crucible. And then 2 extra matches got me my ornament. So I'm like, oh, okay, I was right on the money anyway. So I was right there. Luckily enough for me. But I didn't look at optimizing it because I'd had stuff to do. So I have no efficiency checkpoint checklist for you besides the candy, which I still need 8,000 candy.
That feels like a good bit of candy.
Dude, too much. Like the thing that you can do over and over in like 3 minutes, 5 minutes total from going back to orbit and back in, gives you 300. So I'm gonna do that a lot. But the good news is for that I could actually carry people AFK with me, at least 2 people. So Fred's like, yeah, I'll load in on you and then go work out. I was like, yeah, I'm fine with that. That means I get to watch my stuff and you don't have to do anything. Because 2 minutes 45 is like my number that I've gotten it down to. And I'm like, that's not long enough to boot someone. So legit, someone could just load in on me and AFK, and from going back and forth to orbit and back, it won't boot them. As long because it'll keep refreshing their timer over and over again as the activity starts up. So if you want to fall asleep, Ryan, just load in on me later, and I'll do some stuff if I'm not playing Mario.
We got that Mario game.
It's fun, man. It's definitely a fun one. Remember, the top of the flag counts for completion.
Yeah, no, that and it looks like there's 2 of the Wonder Seeds or whatever per level.
Yeah, one that you find and the next one just for beating it.
Sorry, that sucked.
And then the coins, the 3 like 10 flower coins count as well.
What's the other thing at the very top?
The flag. Hitting the top of the flag.
No, there's one like at the very top of, like if you go and inspect the level, that's above the name of the level.
I have my switch right here. Let me see. Courses. Difficulty. Goes down. You got the difficulty. I can't zoom in there. You got difficulty,
yeah,
the flag, the seeds, and then the coins.
Okay.
Is that an OLED switch?
Yeah. It's the Tears of the Kingdom one. So it's schmancy. The back of it's textured with like the Tears of the Kingdom designs on it. It's nice. I'm very excited for my roommate to inherit it once I upgrade to the Switch 2.
Is that confirmed?
The dose.
There's no date on it yet, but there's already talking about Switch 2.
Oh, I
They're
thought
like,
they
"Yeah,
was
it's a
talking
thing."
about Switch 2 for a while.
I think the
Yeah,
internet
well, like
has,
there-
but Nintendo has
Yeah.
it.
What Mr. Not Ryan said. Put it so much more eloquently than I ever could.
Did the stream mess up, Jared?
It hasn't told me it has.
I got empty boxes, dog.
Empty boxes. What do you mean empty boxes?
Oh yeah. Is the sound going?
yeah, it did there for a second. That's because I
Oh, we're back.
opened up
we're
another
back.
window to check something.
I understand.
Hi, me. Good to see you.
So weird waving at future you. I guess you're waving at past you.
Oh, hey there, bud. That's how long it took him to catch up.
Been good, my guy.
Oh man.
What is this? Episode 136.
Pretty good. Good.
All right. We might be live on Twitch. We might not be. Yeah, I guess.
Haven't gotten the thing yet.
So this technically would have been the Halloween episode.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because
It
the
is-
next one's in November, huh?
We forgot to dress up, didn't we?
Yep.
Oh, I'm dressed up as an apple. Here's my stem.
You dressed up as an apple.
Can't believe you guys forgot. Disappointed. You know, in the spirit, I got some candy. Some Trolley Sour Bright Octopus.
Man, I had some of those. I think that had a halo. Like a halo branding on it the other day.
I would believe that. I think that makes sense. I'd buy it if I had seen it. So this lore for anyone that is in the pre-show. Unfortunately, unlike the last two, the Festival of the Lost lore is one long story. So it's 33 chapters long of a story. And I'm like, I divide it into thirds. Like I could split it through 3 weeks. I divided it into thirds, and I read out loud on my own the first third. And I'm like, 15 minutes of reading maybe. I'm maybe slow it down to 18, 20, when doing it on the podcast. But I'm like, it's a pretty funny story. Like, it's pretty good. Um, so I kept it as it is for now, and because the only thing that's left for the actual season is the seasonal lore book, which is only 8 chapters, which I can split into 2 weeks, or I could do a mega lore if it turns into a final week. But I was reading it and I'm like, man, the last couple of years I was able to read all this and then just pick like the ones I liked and then talk about
Right.
them. But this one is like, if you can't do that, it's like one continuous story. So like, okay, well, it's funny enough that probably make it work.
All right. You guys ready to get this party started? Everybody have squiggles on the Zencaster?
Oh,
Yeah.
I got the Twitch notification, baby. There we go.
We made it.
Yeah, grab the camera. Twigs? Yeah.
Click on the button. Eyes up, Guardians. We are live for episode 136 of the Conqueror's Corner podcast. Today is October the 26th. I am the Destiny bad boy, NotRyanFox, here with my fire team, who all of you CCBs know by now. Jared?
Yeah, we got weapons upgrade / nerf / buff for season 23. We're going to go into that and a couple of currency changes that actually is probably beneficial to most players.
And the chronicler himself, chadocero.
We're going back to the long pods today with all the stuff that's going on, so be ready.
And as a reminder, if you're watching us on YouTube or Twitch, thank you. But don't forget, you can take us on the road via Spotify, iTunes, and other podcast services. Make sure you subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe, click the bell, turn on notifications, yada, yada, yada. Follow us on Twitter at DestinyCCPod. Send us bunch of friend requests so we can play games together and join the Discord server. We do have a lot to discuss. We had a info dump on Wednesday, pretty crummy TWID on Thursday. But before we get into that with Jared, let's listen to our intro music, which is brought to you by Link, who you can find on Twitter at LinkOfTimeG. 1 minute, 18 seconds.
You couldn't have stopped it 1 second sooner, Ryan.
Could have, but I have my mouse
Yeah.
2 screens over.
Still doing it. I don't care. Jeez. Squigs. Yep.
Clicking the button. Wow, Link. Awesome job. Thank you. Jared?
All right. So weapons tuning, when it's time to buff stuff, when it's time to nerf. Basically, 5 categories Bungie takes in the thought. First one is, what is the intended role of the weapon? 2, what ammo type does the weapon use? 3, how safe is it to use the weapon? 4, how easy is the weapon to use? 5, how much damage per second does it do compared to the other options? So basically, anytime something's buffed or nerfed, if something in one of those 5 categories or a combination gets answered. And so the example they give here is auto rifles. Right now, their intended role is falling into a place basically almost where hand cannons and pulse rifles is, which as of right now, hand cannons are winning out. And they're a little bit less impactful when it comes to SMGs because SMGs got to get closer. So all that in mind, as of right now, they're going to bring up auto rifles here after a bit. But it's just walking the line and finding the area of auto rifles should be best, around this 25 meters to 33 meters ease of use weapon in PvE is kind of what they're aiming at here. One of the outliers that they kind of happened over the last few years is like weapon reloading, and two of them in particular, Drang and Zao's Bane. Like you can do the reload animation, and whenever like the clips gets in, it actually doesn't get the ammo to show up when that happens. So they're fixing those two weapons. As mentioned, auto rifles, they're getting a 10% buff in PvE against red bars. So that's buffing exotics and legendaries and everything else. So that's good there. Pulse rifles, kind of the same boat as auto rifles right now. They're second and third class in their intended ranges compared to hand cannons and those ranged out SMGs. So red bar and orange bar damage is getting buffed by 12.5% for pulse rifles.
Whenever you guys reload, are you watching the animation or are you watching? Do you just see out of the corner? Like I see out of the corner of my eye the ammo counter change, like in the bottom left of the screen. Like if I'm thinking about rockets, like if we're doing DPS with rockets or something like that, or like sniper damage. Like I'm not looking at the animation. What about you guys?
Oh, I'm an animation guy for until it screws me over like a gun like Zaho's Bane, where I was intentionally waiting for the number to change instead of watching the mag go in.
Like Jared said, kind of mixed bag there. Depends on the gun. Some of the guns, like I'm so used to just the reloading is automatic for me. It's just kind of like a thing that happens without me having to look at it. But some guns, the reload doesn't match when the computer actually adds the ammo in. So like I'll keep reload canceling so that I can move to a new position faster or do something else, but I'll have no ammo in the gun because I canceled too fast. It's like, oh, the magazine was in, but it didn't click into place, so it didn't give you any ammo. And I'm like, you son of a gun. I should have watched that.
So overall, like auto rifles, I've been using a lot of Monte Carlo recently, basically because I'm just doing builds with getting your melee back. So it's going to be getting even better next season, which is good. So I'm looking forward to the auto rifle buff more than the pulse rifle, in my opinion. All right, next up is glaives. What is this, past like 5 or 6 of buffing glaives here? I think last time I said it, if this rework didn't do the job to push them up people's priority list to use, I don't know if there ever will. But here's me going regurgitating the same thing again. They're buffing them up again, trying to get people to use these. It's just, I think Bungie and Neville they're just waiting for the glaive meta. They want everybody to have a glaive in that energy slot. So we'll get into it and see what happens. Overall, they're increasing the projectile speed by 30%, increasing the projectile damage in PvE by 25%. But they did decrease the projectile damage in PvP. So aggressive frames will do 123, adaptive frames 113, and rapid fires 101. Along with that, the time to melee after firing the projectile was a very long time. It was at 0.75 seconds, and now it's going down to 0.2 seconds. So much easier to get that projectile off and then immediately melee right after. Building up the shield was always based on the projectiles hitting a target, and now it's just going to be a gradual charge rate of 1% per second, very similar to how the rework done with swords. And they set up base glaive shield damage resistance to be tiered in PvP. So base glaive shield damage resistance remains at 50%, and then damage resistance against primary ammo weapons and melee attacks have been reduced to 30%. So, basically everything about a glaive just got buffed, except for the melee damage.
The one thing that I use the glaive for.
um, basically, when I go to shoot a glade projectile, I want it to hit very close to where a grenade launcher shot would if I impacted something. Which now we're getting very, very close to that number, where I might give these a shot next season. There's been a couple pieces of hard content where I threw on a glaive just to try it out because getting the shield to block with to get a res off if I'm not running the Invis Hunter. And it's come nice every now and then. So this is a call back to the Bill Simmons podcast. Glaives used to be in the poofecta of the weapons to be used in the sandbox, and now they're barely usable, in my opinion. So they'll keep it over on the side eye. Snipers across the board, everything is getting buffed by 15% in PvE, and that includes exotic heavy sniper rifles. So Whisper, it's Inagi's Burden. I love it. This is what I want to see. I'm glad to see this come. Overall, sniper rifles they're making small tweaks over the last 3 seasons, and not giving them one giant buff to shoot them to the top of the DPS meta. This is going to be very close though. So I think Whisper maybe with some surge stacking, you might be a 1-phase Oryx with Whisper of the Worm now, a lot easier. But yeah, it'd be fun to see. I know we got some exotic weapon changes. First up is Vex Mythoclast. I feel like it got hit pretty hard when they brought down the RPM from 390 to 360. And maybe this will help bring it back up. So miners and red bar combatants, damage against them is getting buffed by 10%. Bosses damage is getting buffed by 25%. And then champions with the linear fusion fire mode is getting a damage buff of 200%.
They really want you to use that in some GMs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Fusion Rifles this season has Unstoppable. Hopefully next season it also has something else. I would love to see Fusion Rifles have Overload. We haven't got to see that. But yeah, we'll see what happens. With Vision
Have
Zero.
they not had Overload before?
Not Fusion Rifles.
Just Unstop, huh?
Yeah. Vision Zero. They took some notes from Vex Mythoclast and gave it the Cliff Notes version to Revision Zero here, with it getting 100% damage increase versus champions. So that's also stacking on top of the 12.5% that pulse rifles are getting across the board. So if you're not doing the 7th shield mission this season, you probably should to get prepared for next season whenever this gun with that intrinsic anti-barrier is probably going to come at least and play at least one GM, because one of these seasons they're going to mess with us and only give us like sidearm anti-barrier, and then you're going to have to use all these exotics anti-barrier, like we're probably using anyway, so most GMs, but yeah.
What old Ariana's bow?
Yeah.
Wish Enders, right?
Yep. Wish
Yeah,
Enter's probably my go-to. Mm-hmm. All right. It's about damn time here that Thorn is finally getting its catalyst, and we're getting the details of what it is. Hopefully, another ornament to go along with it to make it like ornament number 6. So I feel like Thorn has 4 or 5 of them already. Picking up a remnant now will overflow the magazine, and you can overflow it up to 40 rounds. The catalyst will also add 20 range, 10 stability, and getting kills or picking up remnant grants additional range, handling, and mobility. I do see a lot of use out of this coming. Necrotic Grip, Warlocks, I think would be a nice pairing for this. Yeah. If you thought I was done talking about glaives, you was wrong. Sorry about that. And we're going to talk about them again. So this time we're talking about the class glaives. Man, talk about dead on arrival. Probably one of the lowest used exotics that they put out in an expansion, in my opinion. They're going to buff them up here, give them a rework. So overall, all class glaives will grant 1 ammo whenever you activate the perk, so you can use it even if you're out of ammo. And it no longer passively drains shield energy when you special reload to activate the perk. And it's no longer deactivated by reloading or stowing the weapon. I think that is very nice about you can load that special shot and stow it. Warlocks, they changed the effect of the healing turret projectiles to grant cure and to provide restoration. Increase the area effect to 8 meters so nearby allies would be healed. And then they increased the magazine size from 4 to 5. So Fox, as a Warlock main, how do you feel about
Dude,
a healing stick?
you want to hear the most embarrassing thing of all time? I had this thing forever. Can't really figure out how to use it. Like, it's not very intuitive. Like, the way you have to, like, activate the special shot and all that. Like, it would almost have to mess up every other keybind that you have in order to make that thing usable.
Yeah.
Or I'm stupid and 35. Like, it's one of those two things. But it does not feel good to play. Like, I like the idea of it, but oh well.
Like, if you're trying to run a Sunbracers build, you can't even do the Sunbracers melee attack because you have a glaive out. You can't do your power melee.
Yeah.
So I feel like Warlocks have like pretty important melees depending on your build. Like, I mean, Stasis is a very good melee. But we'll see. We'll see if this gets some action starting next season. I think the healing turrets can be very good in a tight spot. Next up,
the boots of the assembler though are so brain dead, and they do the same thing with every rift. So the good thing is adding the radius for it and adding restoration to it is gonna make it actually like, oh, okay, I could mess around with this and in like a strike playlist or just to mess around, like doing like some lost sectors, see if it's actually pretty viable there or whatever. So I mean, I would definitely give the Titan one a shot.
Yeah, so the Titan here, passing through the bubble now grants a bonus to reload, speed, handling, a small amount of stacking bonus damage, in addition to the overshield. And then reduce the health of the bubble from 8,000 to 2,400 to account for the increased uptime and improved effects.
It's just tiny bubble. Literally now it's just tiny bubble with tiny bubble effects. And it's like that. Hey, man, that's cool.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna knock that.
I think back to those times when like Crota was smacking us around on the contest mode. And if we was able to put out a little healing turret and maybe one of these little mini bubbles every now and then from this, it might have helped a touch, maybe keep a couple of us alive.
Yeah, if we weren't using Lament, if we all had that one, the Deep Stone sword,
Bequest, yeah,
that could have been actually the play. But hey, hindsight.
Yep. All right. Edge of Concurrence.
Yeah, Bequest was garbage until they started damage testing, like after the raid. It wasn't like people were out chasing Bequest for damage. You know what I mean? So that's a little.
People doing it to check a box.
Yeah.
And then it just so happened that it not breaking for a heavy attack and it proccing surrounded was just good enough to beat everything else.
Yep.
All right. The Hunter. Lightning Seeker now jolts targets on impact, and then reduce the direct hit damage of Lightning Seeker to account for the free ammo granted. It's like, okay, I know there's a couple things out there now with hunters that if you get jolt going, it buffs you up. I'm thinking a lucky raspberry. I have tried that a bit, and get to throw a lot of grenades, but as like arc goes for hunter, arc is probably, as of right now, it's third. I'll say solar is 1, void 2, arc 3, and then stasis. Strand can be good, but I think strand is, it's down there with, it's in the lower half in PvE right now for in game. All right, next up is it's a big nerf, and after using Necrochasm for a couple weeks, this was needed, and that's Osteostriga. It's finally getting hit. Its ag clear potential is just so easy. You don't need a precision kill. You don't need a kill then a reload. Like, you instantly start putting poison damage out whenever you lay into a target. It's got more range than any other SMG. So they would move the SMG bonus scaler to the effective poison damage, and this brings Striga poison down to match standard narcotic grip poison. Though as an exotic, it will still deal a 40% bonus damage against minors. So it's still going to ag clear very, very well. But like, go use Osteostriga for 2 strikes, and then if you do have Necrochasm, like, go use Necrochasm for 2 strikes, and you're just going to realize how much better Osteostriga is than the latest raid weapon. So Salvation's Grip, they place a speed limit on a detonation when damaging stasis crystals. This will help prevent the detonation from being able to shatter too many crystals on a single frame, which would sometimes kick the player to orbit with an error code. So, officially,
Good thing nobody uses that weapon.
Yep. Winter Bite. Glaives came up again. I think this might be the last time, I hope, but the heavy glaive. Increased detonation damage of the large projectile by 25%, and then self-damage blast radius has been halved, and self-damage has been reduced. You'll be able to go double glaive next season and put out more damage and have more shields and all that good stuff. All right, so we got some perks here we're going to talk about. Danger Zone. We made a small change to how Danger Zone works on the rocket launchers, and you can figure it out for yourselves next season in season 23. Heavy grip. They discovered that somehow it was making you take more flinch, and this was not intended, so they removed it. Precision Instrument. The difference between Precision Instrument and the enhanced version was barely noticeable. So now they changed it from a max stacking bonus of 26% to 30% for the enhanced version. Kinetic Tremors. It's kind of like hit and miss depending on your archetype. But they kind of wanted to fix that a little bit. So pulse rifles, the amount of bullets it takes is going from 12 down to 11. Enhance is now going from 9 to 10. So it's actually going up by 1. For the enhanced, and then non-burst sidearms is getting reduced from 12 to 8, and then the enhanced version is going from 9 to 7. So if you all you sidearm buzzard loving people out there that grinded for one of those, you can have fun. In the future, there's going to be bow tuning and PvP, and additional weapon tuning and checkmate, aimed at promoting better diversity of weapons. I imagine it's very high in hand cannons right now, so there's Johnny Two Sticks are getting upset. Necrochasm is going to be getting a buff, and then also buffs to Truth, Colony, and Dead Man's Tale. And then heavy grenade launchers will also get a substantial inventory buff. So that's it for season 23 weapons from Bungie and what to expect whenever the season kicks off. As of now, every now and then, a couple weeks, stuff will trickle out. There's like, oh, we left out this one perk or left out this one weapon we was meant to talk about. So maybe we get something in a TWID here or there about weapons, but this is basically it. Just taking a look at this right now. That overall shake up to my main use right now is maybe Thorn gets more play just overall on my character, because I think right now it just stays in the vault. I probably will try it in PvP. I might use it in PvE, maybe just depending on what hand cannon champion mod is next season. Anything for you all? It's just going to change up what you have on your character heading into next season.
No, not really. I mean, using auto rifles a little bit more just to play with them, but I already use them plenty on my Titan for sure. So not too much. I'm gonna obviously try out each of the glaives, the exotic ones, and see if they're fun. But otherwise, not really too many changes for me.
I'll probably try out Vex, Thorn, and the snipers. Those are kind of the big ones, I thought.
All right, we are moving on to the TWID. And make sure you pay attention, boys and girls, because it'll be over quick. From Orbit, you are going to be able to access your vault now, just sitting in Orbit. So this is just a quality of life change. That's good for everybody that doesn't play on PC. I'm continuing going to be using Shift Tab and pulling up Dim on Steam and moving my stuff that way. I hope it's easy to use for everybody out there that doesn't have that ability, and it improves the console player's life. Ghost mod costs are going down, and basically they just want you to fill out all those mod slots, because right now I have 6 of them taken up by plus 12% XP, and then either whatever activity I'm doing, I'm trying to get the extra drop, and unless I know I'm about to get an exotic to drop, then I'll switch it over to focus, resilience, recovery, strength, discipline, whatever one I want. Bahul, you're going to be able to downgrade some materials, but only a few per week. So you can take 1 enhancement prism and break it down to 10 enhancement cores, and that's going to cost you 2,500 glimmer. You can take a cinder shard, break it down to 10 enhancement prisms, also an alloy, do the same thing. You can take 5 enhancement cores and make 1 enhancement prism. Yeah. You can only do this 3 per week.
Listen, this is this TWID, they really gave us a lot. Why didn't they just save this stuff on Wednesday for the TWID?
Yeah, I don't know.
Thursday.
Well, they like to do the dev insights as a whole separate thing, and I understand your point, but they do use it as like, well, we did a dev insight, so we don't really have to do much of a TWID, and it's like, well, I mean, I guess I get it. I don't agree with it, but whatever.
And last but not least, don't let people play on your account like recovs, because bad people steal your information, and then they take your login that's for your account and then try all of this other stuff to log in and steal your identity. And that's not something that you want to have to deal with. And then they get like 10 or 15 accounts that they've recovered and use those as their cheat accounts, because it's faster to use cheats than it is to play legit. So just don't do it. It doesn't matter if I believe it said if your fingers weren't on the keys whenever it happened, it still doesn't matter. It's under your account. So just pretend that your Bungie account's your social security number, and don't be handing it out to anybody.
All right. That moves us on to 3 likes and 3 dislikes for the week. I'll go ahead and get us kicked off here. My like is going to be Bungie talking about season 23. You know, there's no better season than the next season when it comes to Destiny 2. So, just looking to what the story's going to bring. Looking forward to that dungeon. Hopefully, they, it's a good mechanics dungeon and not just a huge sponge pool that just dump bullets into when it comes to the bosses. So,
My like was that was able to unlock the Necrochasm this week. Still haven't fired a bullet
So-
through it, but I have it.
So proud of you, Ryan. I can't wait till we get you the catalyst. Yeah. For me, my like is being done with Festival of Lost. I just need to do one legend on Earth, and then I have that whole thing done. I already have the memento. I have all those done. I guess I need some candy, but that's not really Festival of Lost at all. Did all the pages, did all that stuff. I'm like, cool, I'm done. All right, I'm out of here. So that was nice to get that out of the way, except for the candy. Getting, I guess, AFKing whoever wants to through the candy while I make my way through it. But my dislike is it's finally, since I finished Festival of the Lost, I got back into season mode ish because I'm done with that too, and I'm like, we have spent since Season of the Hunt building up Zivo Roth's presence in our solar system, and instead of kicking her butt, we just lock her little teleportation gate and say, no, you have to physically come here now. So we won't see her for a while, and I really wanted to just smack her real quick and then kick her back into her throne world, but whatever. We'll have to wait for another year after building it up, since, like I said, Season of the Hunt is the first time Zivu was actually in an area. So it's been a long time of build up for that. I'm mad about it.
well, it's got to be a reason for you to purchase the episodes after,
Yeah.
after the final shape. Yeah, so my dislike for the week is how slowly progressed you go through the Festival of the Lost activities while wearing a mask. I will sit down and I played like 5 games of Team Scorched. I was like, okay, hopefully I'm getting like 5% per game. No, it's like 2 to 3% per game. And I'm like at 52%. So we'll see how this weekend goes and how many games I want to play. If Team Scorched, I don't know how many you get in Gambit. Maybe I'll try Gambit. If I'm getting like 5% per in Gambit, maybe I'll play a handful of Gambit games to help progress it a little bit faster.
And my dislike is I'm not having very good luck on my Crota pattern red border drops. So I wish those would pick up a little bit.
All right. That's it for likes and dislikes this week. Again, we do that based on balance. We won't say things that something happened in this week that you liked and some reason that you didn't like. All right. Next up is Gambling Corner. Fox, what's going on?
So Gambling Corner, my favorite segment. Each season we start with 10,000 Glimmer. We make bets every week, and if you ever bankrupt in Glimmer, then you must offer a weapon for sacrifice to be sharded to the other 2 members of the podcast. The winner gets to give punishment to the 2 losers. So last week our bet was total amount of fire team deaths in our next Crota's End raid. And Jared was all in at this point. And Jared bet 15, Chad bet 13, I bet 12, and I think we had 33 when I counted it up.
Yep.
He
So,
had to have paid off Shifty. Something happened
yes.
there.
Yeah, that's usually more than we have in 3 raids. So,
Yeah.
but either way, Jared wins, and I believe that takes Jared to 4.5
Yep.
total. That takes me to 1.5 total. So I have to win this week, or something's getting deleted.
Are you at 6?
And okay.
Oh yeah,
I
6. Yeah,
forgot.
you lost 1.5.
Man,
yeah.
I was looking at the wrong part. That could have been bad. Could have been bad. And Chad's smashing us. Chad is mine and Jared combined doubled. So yeah, it's rough. So we got to start cranking out some GMs here at some point. So you guys want to do GM time, GM kills, or GM deaths?
Oh, let's do time.
I want to go last. Or wait, who's lowest? Jared? Jared can go last. Chad has to go first.
For time.
Yeah.
And we're not deciding which GM we're doing next right now.
Nope.
No. Okay. 33. 33 minutes.
I'll say 35, 15.
Alright.
15.
I know we got a couple battlegrounds to do. I think it's 3 battlegrounds to do, actually. And the other one
I
is...
think it's 3 battlegrounds and a light blade.
Yeah, and Lightblade. That's pretty close. Y'all's time there is good. I went over it all last time just to cover it, but I think we'll move through something here faster than we think. So I'll go 32 minutes.
32. All right. There we go. Closest time on next GM. Ryan at 35.15, you said?
35, 15.
35.15. Jared at
35 and a
32.
quarter.
And Chadok at 33. Once again, right in the middle. That's how it rolls. That's how you got to do the winner to make it so he's not a winner no more.
Whatever it takes.
I believe in you guys.
Oh, we're doing what we're doing.
Don't let me
1,000?
win.
2,000?
I'm scared.
Do 2,000.
2K Anthony. There it is.
All right. I think that takes us to the lore section. Chad, what do you got for us?
All right, moving the lore. So, like I said, the book Tales of the Forgotten, I said this in the pre-show, is one long story. So I'm gonna do it like that, one story, and we'll see how far into it we can get, or we can bring it back in the future. But gonna start off, chapter 1. The Tower Bazaar was beginning to wake with activity as Ido sighed and placed her data pad on the table in front of Crow's ghost. Glint, this research on the hall between has me thinking about stories. The ones that evoke fear, the scary ones, as you've said. Like the ones about the drowned captain, Glint asked. Exactly. My father told me not so long ago that odes are for hatchlings, but throughout our research on the hall between and the headless ones, I've discovered that people of all ages and backgrounds enjoy these tales of dread, regardless of their academic merit or accuracy. So I'd like to make something similar for people to enjoy. I want to try writing my own. That's a wonderful idea. What will you write first? Well, I'm not exactly sure. I need some inspiration. Oh, I'd love to help. Now, the first thing to know about scary stories is that sometimes nothing is as scary as the truth. The room Eris had stuck Imaru in was minuscule. There was no windows to watch the hours and days pass, no electronics to hack, just containers of decommissioned armor stacked against the far wall, and one small, empty crate in the middle of the room adorned with handwritten sign that simply said, "You," and an arrow pointing menacingly downward. It was placed there as a warning after he was caught lurking around more sensitive areas of the tower. Ikora had confiscated his shaded shell disguise and placed a hidden agent somewhere outside to report on his every move. She did, however, leave some blank crossword pages for him. Imaru stared at the crate, emitting a low-pitched growl as a lone sweeper bot entered, surprising the ghost. He circled, then scanned his random, unexpected visitor. It was standard issue, nothing special. Imaru was disappointed. I still can't believe Savathun would do this to me, Imaru said to the bot as he flew directly at its face. The nerve of it all, leaving me here as collateral, and then to ask for information. He watched the bot shuffle away and broom the open crate. Then again, who says I have to share everything? Imaru swooped around, quickly hacking into the sweeperbot systems. Grab an empty kit bag from over there. Should be just the right size if I remove a little weight. As the bot complied, Imaru chuckled, shedding his standard hive shell. Right, time for a jailbreak. After a few arduous attempts and one superbly acted sob story told to an incredibly gullible ghost, Imaru eventually sauntered off in a new constricting shell. In his latest disguise, he skulked through halls and hangars and workshops, scanning everything and anything he could, finding on his way to the courtyard. Though there he hovered among the gnarled branches of a giant tree, nearly invisible among the colorful lanterns adorning it. He watched guardians meditate among candles, the flames flickering the breeze. Others dressed as insects and arachnids gleefully danced or bobbed for apples, their revelry flanked by a pair of guardians galloping up with coconut shells. Amid the flurry of costumes and masks, his gaze finally settled on people sharing a small, wrapped objects. Imaru gingerly floated closer to the base of the tree to get a better look. Hey, move along, pal. I saw that candy first, a voice sneered from behind him. I called dibs on that candy. Don't make me say it again. Imaru turned to see another ghost as she made a beeline for the candy on the ground beneath him. What are you wearing? You dipped your shell in human food? Imaru spat. The other ghost sighed. It's a caramel apple shell, you dolt. If you know anything, you'd recognize how special it is. Looks sticky. It's a delicacy. Note the elegant ornamentation of crushed toffee bits, she said and spun around. If you haven't lost your self-respect yet, allow me to lose it on your behalf, he shot back. Her iris narrowed as she fixated on Imaru's shell. I'm surprised your guardian didn't dress you up like a lemon, she scoffed. I ain't got no guardian, Imaru sniffed. The other ghost bobbed towards him. Wait, you're unpartnered too? I knew there were more of us out. Happy Festival of Lost, friends. Oh no, Imaru and the other ghost groaned in unison as they faced a cheerful Glint. The toffee-covered ghost transmatted away the second she heard Glint's voice. Unfazed, Glint approached the snake-covered ghost, determined to make a new friend. Hello, stranger. Are you enjoying the festival? Glint asked. Get lost, Imaru snarled, and Glint jumped back in surprise. Imaru, you be quiet, will ya? I'm trying to enjoy the festival, incognito, Imaru whispered. Glint quietly stared back for a moment. You broke out of Eris's crate, huh? I was in a room, not a crate, Imaru replied tersely. I wasn't waiting to be let out again on good behavior. I'm my own ghost. Then you should join me and Ido? No. But we're collecting inspiration for scary stories, starting with our research on the headless ones in the hall between. Headless what? Headless ones. Giant pumpkin-headed enemies that Guardians have been fighting. They're mysterious monsters filled with candy. Fighting the Guardians. In that case, I'd love to hear what your little fallen friend has to say about them. Ido sat in the tower's bazaar beneath the afternoon sun, comfortably situated at a table with a full pot of tea. She gazed intently into her cup, her research and data spread out around her. Ido, Imaru is going to Ido? Why are you staring at your tea instead of writing? Glint peered at her in confusion. I was going to write, but then I discovered the art of tasseomancy while following an old research lead, she said, her eyes never leaving her cup. Apparently it's a method of discerning things yet to come by assessing patterns within the leaves and sediment. I was looking for monsters, not tea, Imaru growled. Ido's eyes squinted. This pattern looks like Commander Zavala knitting with Empress Keitel, Glint exclaimed. Ido watched as the leaves swirled around in the tea, the shape of a ragged claw, a sharp chill suddenly settled deep within her. No, it's Finch with a lucent night. No, a hunter. No, wait, he's hugging Savathun. Glint called out again. Why did I think for 1 second this was going to be worth my while? Imaru muttered and left. Forget the tea, Glint said. I got something better. He transmitted a set of objects onto the table. Ido gasped. The deck of whispers? You stole Eris's cards? Borrowed. Glint. What? I left a note. Ido shivered as she conjured the image of high vaulted Eris in her mind. It's too dangerous. He quickly pushed the cards away, but Glint nudged them back. I heard that Eris consulted the deck to gain information or make decisions. I thought we could use it to inspire your writing. Let's just try. How hard could it be? Ido sighed and picked up the cards, shuffling them with her 4 hands in the flamboyant style the drifter taught her. How many cards? She asked. Try 3. And when I watched Eris, she had to ask the cards a question. Ido thought a moment. What kind of danger would be threatening enough for a scary story? Ido cut the deck in half. She felt a surge of energy as she selected the first card. The Harbinger. Wait, I've got a better one. What kind of dangerous situation should be happening right now? Glint, I don't think we should. We need to write about a true story. This is exactly how we do it. Ido closed her eyes, feeling energy surge in her hands again, and then continued. The Lie. 3 of Worms. She opened her eyes and studied the cards. Eris can be, well, intimidating, she admitted, pointing at the Harbinger card. No, the cards aren't literal. It's a metaphor. The Harbinger and the Lie. That means the spirits of the dead are like lost leaves in the wind and wandering the earth. But the Lie is upside down. That wouldn't make sense. It's right side up to me, because you're on the opposite side of the table. It's my reading. Oh yeah. Then they aren't lost. They have a purpose. They seek revenge against the living by changing us into headless ones with paracausal worm power. Ido pondered the cards. Actually, I was thinking that solitude and being isolated can evoke terror in both humans and Elixni. Perhaps my scary story could include that? Glint shrugged. Not bad. I still like mine better. Maybe try it again. Ido nodded and swept up the cards and shuffled once more. The colors of dusk were already painted in the sky beyond the last city by the time Glint approached Crow, stationed at the outskirts of the tower. Crow, you'll never believe what happened today. Ido and I were talking. We talk a lot, but today about the headless ones. And then she got the idea to write a scary story. And that Ido was going to write, but then she didn't. She did, but first I didn't help. So then I borrowed Eris's deck of whispers. The cards were incredible. No wonder Eris... Glint stopped and saw Crow's gaze following a squadron's contrails in the far distance. Glint, I didn't see you there. Did you say something? Just that I'm here, if you want to talk. Glint leaned against his guardian's shoulder. The Crow reached up. Amaru materialized again in the corner of the courtyard, not far from the bust of Cade 6. He continued his studies, watching guardians obediently crowd around a human with more candy. Lots of candy, in fact. Her laughter pealed like mesmerizing bells as she bestowed her confections, the guardians seeming to respond to her every command. Subjugation by sucrose, Amaru thought to himself. Much less messy than the hive way. What I wouldn't give to try it out myself. He chuckled out loud at the thought. An oblivious titan stopped directly in front of him, adjusting his giant chicken mask with one hand while cradling a mound of confections in the other. A chicken charged the titan. He gasped and quickly dropped his bounty of candy in front of the ironwood tree, hands outstretched in a semblance of surrender. The chicken feverishly flapped her wings and mercilessly pecked his fingers. Colonel, it's me, the titan cried out in agony, trying to yank his mask loose. I'm not a chicken. Mask wedged askew, the titan ran and frantically barreled straight through Amaru. The ghost slammed into Colonel with a solid thud. The chicken focused her rage on Amaru and snapped at his shell. She found purchase on the silver snake decoration and clamped down. Let go, Amaru yelled, wishing he had his hive shell to swat the bird away. He sped through the courtyard toward the hangar, but Colonel had the strength of a titan, the finesse of a hunter, and the cunning of a warlock, and held on the whole way. Anna Bray passed through the courtyard, her mechanical dog at her heels. Happy Festival Lost, Ava. Oh, Anna dear, Ava called back and held out a small package. I thought Archie deserved to celebrate the festival in style with his costume this year. Anna gasped softly with delight as unfurled a tiny cloak. Look at you, Archie. I always knew you were a hunter at heart. She bent to secure the cloak just as a ghost came zipping in from the direction of the hangar, a rage-filled chicken hanging off his shell. Archie's cloak flapped over the ghost's eye. Unable to see, the ghost skipped and skidded along the floor of the courtyard, landing in the abandoned pile of candy beneath the ironwood tree. Colonel's beak shook loose on impact. She expertly bobbed and weaved around the candy, her pecking focused on the ghost's eye. Mechanical barks sounded among the candy wrappers. Amaru saw a flurry of feathers fly past. Eventually, the squawking faded into the distance. Amaru sat motionless until he felt the dog's nose nuzzle softly against him. Only then did the flustered ghost emerge from hiding. Aw, look at that. Archie saved that little ghost from Colonel's wrath. What a good little hunter, a guardian cooed. Amaru watched in awe as every guardian in the courtyard simultaneously forgot about the candy, their attention devoted exclusively to the dog. Incredible, he mused with fascination. Amaru eventually found Archie again, sleeped and curled on a blanket in the annex. Ghost approximated a guttural sound of clearing one's throat, and the dog opened one eye. You know, after the whole chicken thing, I saw what you did up there to those guardians in the courtyard. The way you had them wrapped around your little paws. You've got a gift, Amaru said, and I could really use your help. Archie tilted his head, listening. Right now, those guardians don't care about anything else besides candy. It's controlling them, and they'll do anything for it. So we gotta get control of it instead. Archie growled. Not to hurt the guardians, Amaru said. Feigned sincerity dripped in his voice. Just to help them. You want to help Anna, don't you? Keep her safe? Archie processed for a moment, then barked in agreement, sealing their pact. It looks like we're following Glint and Amaru's adventures on this, and Glint's mission is to come up with scary stories with Ido, and Amaru's is to take control of the Guardians with, well, now a dog. So we'll see what happens next.
Dude, Amaru's quickly become the most annoying NPC in the game with this Halloween event. Like,
agreed.
Never do that again, Bungie. Like, we'll have complete silence than what was been going on. All right,
You ready for the mailbag?
Yeah.
Yep.
One question this week. We've teased it for a couple weeks now. It is time for the snake draft of Halloween candy. Now, the way I understood this, and I need to know before we start, this is the candy that would be put in your bucket as a child,
Yeah.
correct?
This is Halloween candy, trick-or-treating.
This isn't like candy as an adult you can go buy a bag of at the Walmart,
Correct.
but the candy that would be put into your bucket or bag.
You just want to do the Mount Rushmore method? Okay.
Yep. Let Chad go first?
Yeah.
Are you writing this down, Jared?
Yep.
Okay. I think as Ryan would say it, pronounce it, Reese's.
The clear
Right?
number
That's
one
right?
pick.
Yeah.
The clear number one overall pick.
Fox, you want to go ahead and have me go?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
All right.
Chad, how would you say it, just out of curiosity?
Reese's.
But how would you say the real small ones that were on ET?
Reese's Pieces.
Reese's Pieces?
You call those Reese's Pieces?
That's how you pronounce the word pieces, isn't it?
That's not. I've never called them that.
So when you're talking about a PC of something, that's how you pronounce it? Like, hand me that
No, I'm just
PC of
telling
pie.
you. I'm just telling you that I've always called them Reese's Pieces.
Yeah.
Like my entire life.
I believe you.
Never
believe you.
never really put much thought into it as to why I call it that.
I'm
That's
fairly confident you can go back and find like a commercial when they say Reese's Pieces.
Reese's Pieces.
Yeah.
You probably could.
I would have to go like looking back when I was younger, the little single mini Twix, the little small ones. I was so excited to get one of those.
Yeah.
So I'll go with
Yeah.
Go with Twix.
Going with Twix. So I got to go back to back here. think you have to go Snickers.
Yeah.
And this might be a bit of a reach, but I don't think so. I think all the real candy heads out there appreciate a good old Kit Kat.
That's a good one. It's a good pick.
That's a good
Okay.
one. I did Kit Kats.
Especially like the Halloween ones, where you get the 2 bars and you like split them in your
Yeah.
mouth, where you just like put the whole thing in the
Yeah.
Yep. I'm going to go a little bit more sugary of a candy here. I'm going to go with Nerds.
Okay, yeah, the little boxes. The little
Yeah,
boxes.
you just do the shot.
What
You
was
just-
what was your first thing again, Jared?
Twix?
Twix. That's right. Okay.
Are we being mean to each other's
Nerds.
picks, or are we being nice? Are we being contentious?
Oh, it's fine. You
I'm
go ahead
being
and say
honest.
it.
Like, I like all these things, man.
Nerds
the,
wouldn't have been on my top 10, let alone my top 4.
Okay.
I mean, if they ended up in my little bag, I'd be down with it.
Yeah.
I don't really think I would go out of my way to buy them at like in a like a gas station or something.
Mm-hmm.
But if someone handed them to me, heck yeah, I'm eating that whole box right then and there. Okay, so for me, I'm going back to back too, huh?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going the Sour Punch singles. You know, like they have like the little and they're
Straws?
individually wrapped Sour Punch straws. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Little sour candy in here.
The Sour Punch straws. This is what you took. That's basically what
Yeah,
they
Sour
were.
Punch
Okay.
straw.
All right.
Yeah. What next? Snickers, Kit Kat, Twix, Reese's. So all the good chocolates are gone.
There might be a couple still out there.
Yeah, there's gonna be a couple of them. Let's go with some because they have small packets of these here. I'm pretty sure they got them over there, but like little gummy worms
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay.
because they have the smaller packs of those. Yeah.
This next candy I don't think I've had since I was probably 11 or 12, and that's a Warhead. You got those super
Ooh.
sour Warheads that you could get. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what are my 2 picks so far? I got Snickers
Snickers
and
and
Kit
Kit Kat.
Yeah.
All right. I think I am going to go Milky Way,
Yep.
and then. So here's the deal, Chad. You picked the wrong sour candy. The answer is Sour Patch Kids, not Sour Punch straws.
See, I was forced to eat Sour Patch Kids growing up, so I can't stand them.
Okay.
Like if someone hands them to me, I'll give them to someone else. I can't do it. Like that was my stepdad's favorite candy, so they were always
Gotcha.
around, and he would just like hand them to me.
gotcha.
He's like, "Hey man, here's some candy. Here's some candy. Here's some candy," all year long for years, and I'm like, I hate this candy so much. Give me
So the
any
issue-
other sour candy. But I do agree with you. It's a huge crowd pleaser.
Yeah.
And yeah.
The issue
Sour
is
Patch Kid. Okay.
I don't know if I should. There's another Premier chocolate that is available, like
I know.
a
I
top
thought
tier,
of it after. Yeah.
a top tier chocolate.
So you're
But
deciding
I
between
have
those.
three. I have 3 other chocolates. There's also a
Okay.
top tier sweet. So I'm between M&Ms and Starburst. Or,
Oh, okay. Yeah, because they have those little 2-pack Starbursts.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes
And
those
I-
2-packs turned into 2 yellows.
So
I like yellow,
what
man.
what I'm gonna say is, since this is my 4th pick, I feel like I'm pretty comfortably in the lead. I'm gonna go
He
Starburst.
says that every time. Starburst. Okay.
I I can't believe M&M's lasted this long. That's a major
I know.
oversight
I
by
couldn't
us.
believe it. After I said gummy worms
Mhm.
and Jared started talking, I'm like,
Now-
dang it, M&M's.
Think about Starburst. When you open one of those up, and you might get red pink, a double pink, a double red, an orange
Yeah.
pink, orange red,
Yeah.
double orange. Like there is
Double
just
yellow.
it's kind of like a little gamble every time you open one up.
Yeah.
You're opening up that
And
loot
just
box.
think about that feeling whenever
Mhm.
whenever you get
I
you
got
know,
a
the
double
rate
pink.
exotic to drop. Yeah, double pink. You know.
God
So-
roll.
I mean,
All right.
I'm just transporting myself back to whenever I was a kid and what I was excited to pull out of that bag.
Yeah.
And this last one, I don't know if they had it out in California, but in the you're surrounded by tobacco in Kentucky, and you wanted to smoke
Okay.
so bad, because you always see so many people
Yep.
smoking. So it's the candy cigarettes
Some of the
where you could blow on
Man,
them
that's
and
a
the smoke
fucking
came
good
out.
Pick, dude.
You just got a bunch of kids sitting out on the porch
Yep.
late
Yeah.
Halloween night. They're just sitting there with cans of soda, just
Yeah.
talking junk about people walking by. Yeah, that sounds
Wearing
right.
shirts
All right.
with Joe Camel on it.
Yeah.
Just being
So I'll go
super
with the peanut M&Ms then.
cool. I think even as a child, you preferred peanut M&Ms.
I don't like chocolate. So chocolate needs to be accompanied by something for me to enjoy it. Like Reese's, it has peanut butter. Snickers has caramel and Twix has the caramel and the candy. Like the plain chocolate M&Ms, I can't eat too many of those. Like I'll eat a couple, but I'm like, if this isn't on a cookie or in a Rice Krispie treat, I don't want this. This is too much chocolate. So peanut M&Ms were always my jam.
The other thing we need to talk about some honorable mentions.
Yeah.
So, did we miss Skittles?
Yeah, we did.
Oh yeah, we did.
I thought
I
about
think
them.
both Jared and I ruled those out on our gas station runs.
Did we miss Tootsie Rolls?
I don't think we missed them. I think that was by design.
Tootsie Rolls were available. They're always available. Like they're not ones that you go for first.
Okay. We missed like the Hershey's or Hershey Kisses.
Yeah.
Missed those. I had
That feels like more of a
I always-
Christmas time candy for me.
always kind of liked the little hot tamales or the Fireball,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
the cinnamon
yeah.
candy,
Mm-hmm.
and we missed all suckers. So Dum Dums, Tootsie Roll Pops.
We also missed Smarties. Smarties is also a big Halloween candy.
Dum
mean,
Dums.
I'm more of a crayon than a chalk kind of guy, but I'll mess with some chalk. I'll eat that up, dog.
Yeah.
It helps. It helps when you're having heartburn. Yeah.
Yeah. And then isn't there like those sour apple
The
suckers,
caramel
sucker
apple
apple.
pops, right?
Yeah, like those are
I
big.
think I include that in suckers.
yeah.
Yeah, those are good though. Yeah. I even talked about a caramel apple in the Lord. Dang it! It was there. It was right there.
All right. Vote who you think won. We'll get a graphic made at some point. Put it out.
Maybe we do that
Um,
on Halloween.
What we should have done is just made terrible picks and just made it as just like left off, like Snickers,
Yeah.
left off.
We didn't
like
even
all
mention
the-
Reese's.
like the B tier chocolates, like Mr. Crackle and like Mr.
Oh, 100
Goodyear.
Crackle's
grand.
not bad though.
Yeah.
What about
Oh, Mr.
white
Goodyear's
chocolate
bomb,
Hershey's or whatever?
Oh,
Cookies
the
and cream.
cookies and cream. Yeah.
Dude. Ooh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we should have done one like and left off like Reese's and all those others. Like nobody picked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the A tier, S tier candies are just these are no goes. Yeah. That would
Maybe
take
one
us
of
a
them gets
fourth out, though,
picked in
so.
like the third or fourth round. And
Yeah,
then
like
just
near the
played
end,
it
it's like, oh, I can't believe I forgot about this.
Mm-hmm.
Reese.
All right. Last thing, let's pick some numbers.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Let's do 28.
6, 10. 26.
And I am going to go. All right. Last thing, let's pick some numbers. 77. 77. It's on the third
Okay.
roll. Roll 1, roll 2, and 80. Ugh.
Damn.
80. If you had 80, congratulations. Somebody will
Ooh.
put that at the bottom so we can track it. The bottom of the rundown. But
I
that
did.
is the end of the show. We'll be, don't forget, Saturday, Dungeons and Dragons. So, should be fun. We'll stream it. I'll probably be either really sad or really happy based upon the outcome of the Kentucky football game.
Oh, yeah.
So I might just be absolutely miserable. It's hard to tell. So, saying that, I'm going to let these other two guys sign off.
Yeah, Festival Lost. You got what, like 10 days left? So if you can't be putting much off for much longer if you want to get anything.
And be ready to probably finish this actual lore book for this in the next 2 weeks.
Follow us on Twitter at DestinyCCPod. Go Cats. Fuck Tennessee. Love you guys.